Hello, Dimitri. How are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm at Cassava House, East Harlem.
Okay.
Yep. Again.
Again, it's your office.
Yeah, it basically is. Yeah.
So we're going to talk about the disintegration meeting you had last night on October 22nd, and today we're going to be talking about SSRIs and microdosing.
Yes.
Okay.
SSRIs and microdosing. So there's another great group, and I don't just say that. It actually is. It's actually a great group. And so woman who's been coming for, I think, since the beginning, basically, and had gotten off of SSRIs for depression and had been treating herself with microdosing LSD and I believe psilocybin, and to great success. I mean, she was doing really well. And then she sort of took a downturn. And she was coming to tell us that she was going back to the SSRIs, to the traditional, actually in this case she's going to Wellbutrin, so not SSRIs, but going, and I'd like for people who know about that to please comment so we get a conversation going about the difference between Wellbutrin and other antidepressants. But she felt sort of, what she was relating, I could tell that she felt sort of guilty about it. Like somehow she had, failed her, but also failed us, and so I think it was a good conversation to have open in the group because, and here too, and because this is going to happen. First of all, so many people are disqualified because they're on SSRIs from taking many of these drugs. And I think that's sort of individual. I know some of them, it's dangerous to, take ayahuasca or iboga with an SSRI. And it's less effective with things like mushrooms. But actually, I know people who are on SSRIs for years who've done mushrooms and felt the full effects, and then people have felt nothing. So that's a whole conversation because so many people who want to access this, can't, have to, get off the SSRIs or get off the, their antidepressant to partake in the psychedelic experience. But the shame was palpable. She was really sort of like, I asked her what she said, and then I'm going back to, and I said, going back to what? She said, the devil. And we as a group and, really had to tell her that that's not the devil, that what we're trying to do is not create a culture of some sort of purity in terms of like, you're either on a psychedelic path or not on a psychedelic path. And then, what does that even mean, which we can talk about. But, you're trying to lessen your suffering and to find some comfort in a world that often isn't very comfortable. Someone said, a member of the group, a young woman, her first time in the group, she said, I wrote it down, looking for the answer is closing, right? Because, this woman felt that she was looking for the answer and now she had to close the chapter, close the search because she had, quote unquote, failed or found her way back to the devil. But the looking for the answer is closing, and what we're doing in the psychedelic space is opening. And so what she was doing was trying to find a way to open her world, to expand her world that had become small because of depression. The traditional pharmacopoeia of, allopathic medicine was closing that, and she was looking for an opening, but that opening didn't just seal back up. She had been on this journey for a couple of years that took her to like breath work and Burning Man and 5 rhythms and a different way of approaching the world. And so it wasn't a closing, it was an opening. An opening back to self. And I think she felt much better, but want to put that out there that, I'm not for or against any drug, right? Unless it's like clearly just about, repressing people or harming them. But she had started this path. And so, and the other thing she found out from the group members, and please comment if you know anything about this, that Wellbutrin doesn't cancel out the psychedelics. So she got information, and that was from other group members. I didn't know that. That's not my thing. I'm not a psychopharmacologist. I've never personally been on these things, but I thought that was significant. And I think that shows the power of the group, the power of the collective is when, she was walking around just sort of feeling like she was going, quote, back to the devil. And she wasn't. She's just trying to find her way. And then after we talked a little bit, she started talking about seasonal depression, which I have, and realized now, maybe it's because the seasons are changing here in the Northeast. So, yeah.
Okay. So by the end of the meeting, was she feeling a little bit better about her decision?
This was one of those cases where, she felt much better. And it was also an opportunity for other folks to talk about that and explore, their relationship with the meds, getting on meds, getting off meds, which is it's a big topic of conversation.
Okay. So by the end, though, did you still feel like she was going back to the devil?
No, she was on a continual journey that's going to take her wherever it's going to take her.
Okay.
And that's she's trying to find a way to be comfortable.
Okay.
I think of the Cream line. I have found a way to live in the presence of the Lord. You know that line from Cream? I think it's Cream, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
I like that.
So wait, how does it go again? I have found my way to live in the presence of the Lord.
I think so.
Okay.
Again, for those folks who know, comment.
Okay. So Wellbutrin. So I know nothing about Wellbutrin. I've heard of it, but that is not classified as a SSRI.
The folks in the group said it's not. So she also found that she could still microdose.
So she could do both.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah. So and if that's erroneous information, then please let us know. But this is what I understand right now.
Definitely don't take this as medical advice. Research, make sure you know what you're doing if you do choose to do that.
Yeah.
So do you think part of the struggle she was having is because she thought that she was going to find an answer?
Yeah. Because that's a problem.
And this seems to be something that comes up. Is coming up over and over again in our talks here.
Yeah, look at the. It's not just around psychedelics; it's around the whole culture of, finding solution. The end. The solution is at the end of the rainbow. Or at the end of the quest, and that's just doesn't describe the human condition. It just doesn't.
Would you say that so maybe part of the contributing factors that a lot of people are looking outside for answers that they can only find inside?
But even like this idea of going, finding the answer inside through meditation. Someone else was talking about meditation in the group, and basically what he said is like, meditation doesn't make him any less depressed. It just makes him more present, and also more present to his depression. So I mean. I don't know if
a positive step right in there in and of itself.
It could, if you want to frame it as positive. Yeah, I mean, if you really want to get into it, I think that the Buddhist attachment to the present causes a lot of suffering.
Wait, say that again. The
Buddhist attachment to the present causes a lot of suffering, and people look, it's not just Western culture. It's in a lot of cultures with people who know the answer. The answer is in Jesus. The answer is in psychedelics. The answer is in meditation. The answer is in SSRIs. And then when folks don't find it, then there's something wrong with them. I mean, the Buddhists say anybody can do this. Bullshit. Fucking bullshit. How much harm are you causing by saying anybody can just sit there and count their breaths until, I'm fucking really I'm really fucking, reducing it, but no, they can't. And you got to remember, a lot of these belief systems come out of extreme privilege, I mean, like Buddha was a, trust fund baby. So like, who's got 42 days? Do you? You got 42 days sitting under a tree? No, his dad was paying for the whole thing. So anyway, yeah.
Okay.
So, but the point is that present. I'm not against the practice of being present, but to present it as the way for everyone, and everyone can do this. Just people are like just shamed and hurting themselves around it. Go and sin no more. Okay. Thanks, you're forgiven. Oh, great. Go sin no more. Like that second part kind of fucks you up, right? Like, I'll do my fucking best to sin no more.
It starts a cycle. Where you started from.
Yeah, and then you might need SSRIs to get over the depression that the shame caused, And then, since you're going on SSRIs, that's not natural. You might want to go switch to fucking Buddhism and sit there for a while. But if you can't catch your breath, maybe psychedelics, ayahuasca will help you come to the present. But if the ayahuasca doesn't work, then there's something wrong with you because you went to Christianity, you went to psychopharmacology, you went to fucking Buddhism. I always say fucking Buddhism, excuse me for that. And then you went to psychedelics. I got nothing against Buddhists. Some of my best friends are Buddhists. Anyway. So,
no worries. Okay, so all right, so I'm trying to put a bow on this conversation, and I'm having trouble. Figuring out how to wrap this one up.
Well,
sounds like what you're saying is that we keep looking, and sometimes we never find an answer that satisfies us. Maybe there's an answer there that we don't like, so we tend not to look at it, or we tend to ignore it and look for something else that satisfies us.
Yeah, and that's just the human condition. The thing is, I think that we put so much value and judgment into outcome, and like my quest is to suffer less, and I've gone through all those trips. I've gone and I just haven't done any SSRIs or antidepressants, and who knows, maybe someday I will. But I think that it's just this ever expanding, opening, looking, exploring, and trying to be a better person, and trying to be gentle with yourself and others, and the results are in the journey. The journey is the result. There's no result.
That's where I was going to say next. I would say, would you say it's fair to say that, or would you agree that it's fair to say that maybe focus less on the outcome and focus a little more on the journey itself?
If you can.
I know that's
yeah. If you can.
Dealing with depression or addiction or anything, PTSD. People are looking for the outcome. They want the resolution. They want to cross the finish line. It almost,
right.
I mean, it's never happened in my life. I've never crossed the finish line yet.
It will, but not in your life.
No. Yeah, but by the time I finish by the time I cross the finish line, it'll be a story for somebody else to tell, not me.
Yeah.
So I focused on the journey and the present. And now I'm going to contradict what you just said about the Buddhists saying, focusing on the present is what causes people some distress at times.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what's so great about. I mean, it seems to be an attachment. I mean, yeah. I mean, if it's all an illusion, then fuck the present, right? Go to the past, go to the future. I mean, I don't know.
Are we going to start talking about the Matrix next?
Yeah. I've never seen it. Okay, I'm admitting that. I've never seen it.
Oh,
we got to go. I wish we had that shot of the incredulity, the shock and incredulity on your face. Yeah, maybe I got to go see it, right?
It's such a transgenerational movie that I think our children are going to be talking about that.
All right. So I'll watch
just the word that Matrix.
Okay, here's the other thing. I never saw Star Wars.
Never saw the first one?
Never saw any of them. I just don't give a fuck about people flying around in space.
But that again is another cross-generational thing.
Yeah.
my 4-year-old son is running around dressed up as a stormtrooper on one day and Darth Vader the next day. So, you know.
Right around.
Anyway,
he's working it out. He's working it out. He's working out this shadow self. Awesome.
So we're kind of going off the rails here.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Let's come back to. Let's wrap this one up then. And how would you say would be a good way to wrap this one up? I mean, what would be the conclusion?
You know, I would say that you know, again, that we process these things together, and that we learn together. And one of the places you can do it, just to be sort of, you know, latently promotional, is at our circle. So please come and check us out.
Okay, so the takeaway of that is whatever struggle it is that you're going through and whatever tool you're using to try to find your answer, the one common thing that everybody could benefit from is sharing this in a group, finding people where you are not judged or shamed and are completely accepted
right on.
and allowed to explore with a group, within a group, and get feedback.
Right.
Sounds great.
Basi. Basi. Okay, buddy.
All right, so
Thanks,
this
man.
integration group, let's talk about it one more time. Where can we do this? Every Tuesday night, 7 p.m., 116 West 23rd Street on the 5th floor. $30 for each 90-minute session. And you can pay there, or you can go onto your website, DimitriMachinas.com, and reserve your spot and pay for it all in one spot, one stop. Okay.
That's great, man. Thanks, brother.
All right, Dimitri. I will talk to you.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Bye. Peace, bro.